Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome once again to another edition of the Mr. Warren Hayes Show. Guess what, folks? Guess who I am? Take a guess. No, I'm not Leonard Nimoy. I'm Mr. Warren Hayes. I don't know why Leonard Nimoy was the first guy who popped into my head. For some reason, not because he doesn't deserve to be in our minds, but holy smokes, right? I mean, why did I think of... Anyway, it doesn't matter. Welcome! This is the Warren Hayes Show. My name is Mr. Warren Hayes, starting over. And this is my SmackDown Live recap show. Oh, sprinkled with a wee bit of AEW. All Elite Wrestling, wouldn't you say, folks? I think we gotta at least touch on the subject a little bit. I wouldn't be a respectful wrestling pundit if I didn't talk about it a little bit. And that's what we're going to do here live here on YouTube, youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. That's where you're watching right now. Maybe if you're watching it like exclusively right here after SmackDown, 10:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Got people live here watching it in the chat. Kristen Ashley, editor-in-chief Diva Dirt. Joe Cook is here. Jason, Happy New Year. Haven't seen you as well. Noah as well. As a whole bunch of folk. Whole bunch of people are here. Joining live here on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. And, you know, the great thing, the fantastic thing is if we want this chat to get lively, if we want more people popping in, if we want to have a discussion about All Elite Wrestling and SmackDown, well, just tweet the link out, put it on your Facebook, give us that thumbs up stuff. Go ahead, share it. More people in here, the better. But then again, if you're watching on YouTube whenever, thank you very much appreciated. Your comments are always welcome in the comment section, or you can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Warren Hayes. But then at the same time, you could actually be listening to me on your podcast application. Podcast. I do that now. I keep doing my live shows here, but the audio ends up on audio format stuff, and it goes up into the podcasting universe. So you can actually download the Mr. Warren Hayes Show right now on Podbean and on iTunes as well, the podcasts, Google Play. There's a couple more of these podcasting platforms that I'm awaiting approval. You know, they want to do the proper background checks on me. They want to make sure that I'm not just a pretty face. That my criminal record or lack thereof speaks for itself. So yeah, but honestly, you could be you can find me on a few podcast devices right now, applications, platforms. Apple iTunes, Podbean for sure, Google Play as well. Spotify's coming up, Stitcher, Castbox. That's all. I'm gonna be everywhere, man. You won't be able to bat your eyes without getting flashes of Warren Hayes. In the meantime, Tuesday right now means that tomorrow is on Wednesday. I head over to FightfulSelect.com to do my 205 Live NXT recap show. You guys know this by now if you are regular viewers. Every Wednesday on the Fightful.com premium service called FightfulSelect.com, I do a recap show of the best evening of WWE programming, 205 Live NXT. Doing that tomorrow. I do that immediately after NXT is done. And later this week, I will be doing again on Fightful Select my NXT UK recap show. And for those of you who might be wondering what Fightful Select is, like I said, premium service of Fightful.com. Fightful is a premier combat sports news website. Talking about pro wrestling, MMA, boxing. You go to Fightful Wrestling and you get just the wrestling news. That's what, if you don't want to be bothered with the MMA stuff, you go there. That's all you see, pro wrestling. And that's good. Otherwise, you get all your news there. You get your scoops. And then on Fightful Select for a premium, you get all sorts of premium extra content, extra podcasts, extra stuff. I do the podcasts I do there. You have Sean Ross Sapp, managing editor, who does the Fightful Weekly, which is the mothership show of the Select service. There's Steven Jensen, who does the Weekender, where he covers non-WWE news. There's retro pay-per-view reviews. There's dark match commentary. There's a sneak peeks previews to articles. We sometimes get, when I say we, I mean Fightful Select members, we get little tidbits of news before everyone else. Makes us feel special. So you should join. You should think about joining. Starts at $5 a month. FightfulSelect.com. Go check it out. I'm sure it's worth it because I know it's worth it. But I'm sure you'll enjoy it. That's the thing. Then the beat goes on here, folks. I'm rolling on. Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be joined by the extraordinary Laura Morrow right here on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. We are going to do live NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool predictions. Laura is a fantastic wrestling writer. She's covered, and she's a fan of the British scene, so I'm thrilled that she's joining me to talk about NXT UK, the first big takeover event for the new UK brand. Of course, we're going to talk about the controversies surrounding the contracts and the locking down of talent, the effect that it has or will have or maybe will not even have on the British indie wrestling scene. She'll be with me this Thursday. It's exciting. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the YouTube channel. So make sure you make a note of that. And then on Saturday, to wrap it all up, I will be doing a post-show recap of NXT UK Blackpool, NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool with Kristen Ashley, who is in the live chat right now. If you want to give her a high five or a whoop whoop, it's your choice, really. Yeah, she's going to be joining me. We're going to be doing this on Fightful.com, not Fightful Select, on Fightful.com, on the free site for everyone to see. So that'll be Saturday afternoon, immediately after TakeOver Blackpool. Hopefully you will be able to join us. I'm looking forward to this. I'm hoping, I don't want to give many spoilers away because I want you to come and check out the TakeOver prediction show that I'm doing on Thursday. But I'm kind of looking forward to the event, and I really hope NXT UK blows it out of the water because they need a big event. But the card it's shaping up nicely. Pete Dunne, Joe Coffey in the main event. We're gonna have Toni Storm trying to get the NXT women's title again off of Rhea Ripley. We've got tags. Got Dave Mastiff and Eddie Dennis in a no DQ. That'll be a lot of fun. You should take the time to check it out. And then come chat about it in the post show with Kristen and I. It should be a lot of fun. Yeah, so this is all fantastic. And guys, talking about wrestling. You never get enough wrestling. You never get enough about... We have to do podcasts to talk about wrestling and then listening to people talk about wrestling after watching wrestling. That's how much we like wrestling. We love wrestling that much. And if you like it that much, why don't you head on over to Powerslam.tv? Powerslam.tv is a subscription service that contains oodles and oodles of wrestling content from tons of independent wrestling promotions from here and abroad. From North America, Europe, Asia, There's a whole bunch of stuff out there. 4,000 hours of content to be viewed on powerslam.tv. You guys really should take the time to go check that out. There's lots of fantastic stuff. Talked about it a bit last night. There's Smash Wrestling from Canada. That's there, which is always fantastic. You can get a whole bunch of great retro matches from Rev Pro. They have a nice selection of old matches from Rev Pro. And Defy Now, based out in Seattle, up and coming independent promotion that's really making its mark. Defy just recently did a joint event with friggin' Progress Wrestling. Right? Listen to this. You can get this on PowerSlam TV right now. You can see you can see Progress champion Walter. You've heard of him, the big dude, taking on Shaft. You have Shane Strickland versus Brian Cage. Are you kidding me? For the Defy World Championship match. And it's available right there on powerslam.tv. And if, like I said yesterday, I'm really thankful that PowerSlam reached out to support the Mr. Warren Hayes show. And they're going to give you something back for being a Warren Hayes show watcher. You can subscribe and get a month free. Free. You know what free means? Free means in complete liberty, without restrictions, without having to deburse in a fixed amount of currency. That's what it means. You go to powerslam.tv, you sign up, you hit the promo code Warren Hayes. All in one word. It's two names. It's my first name and my surname and my first name. But if you put them all together and you write Warren Hayes in the promo code, you get a month of powerslam.tv for free. And it is worth it. There's so much stuff there. Bar Wrestling out of LA as well is there. There's so much great stuff. I've only started to skim the surface. Last night, again, over the weekend, I started watching matches. I saw some great women's matches on Smash Wrestling. Tessa Blanchard versus Casey Spinelli. Lufisto against Jordan Grace. And these are recent matches. I'm not talking like that happened in 2012, when they were just fresh out of the wrestling schools. No. Current. Great stuff. I want to thank PowerSlam for their support, and this is a great way for you to show your support at the same time for the Warren Hayes show. Because if you go and you use the code, they'll be like, wow, Warren Hayes, he's an influencer. You know what I mean. I'll like it. Everyone will like it. Thank you, powerslam.tv. Thank you, watchers of the Mr. Warren Hayes show. Thank you, everyone, for being here. How's everybody doing? Blaine is here. Gosh darn it, guys. We're already talking about AEW. Let's go at it. Let's talk about it. Let's get that out of the way before we talk about SmackDown. I mean, it's hard not to talk about. It's difficult not to talk about AEW. If with what happened today, this was very, very exciting. It was such exciting stuff. I don't remember the wrestling community being so jazzed as it was today. Now, of course, there's a segment of the population that, is taking this on a little more cynically, but that's not what we're about here at the Warren Hayes show. No, cynicism doesn't have its place. What are you talking about? This was really cool. So they had AEW, All Elite Wrestling, had their rally today. Interesting concept. To call it a rally, instead of having like a press conference. But I think this was a way for the elite guys, for everyone involved to show, to keep in the minding of this grassroots movement that Cody and the Bucks created around All In. I think this is not part, but it's a logical step in the evolution of AEW. I think it makes sense for them to continue down this path. Well, that's very, very interesting. But before we got to the rally, the Khans, Shad and Tony, Shad being the father, and Tony put out a statement, basically saying it was Shad that put out the statement saying that he is the lead investor, supporter, and backer of All Elite Wrestling. So it's not Tony's money that's going into this; it's his dad, who is worth like $6 or $7 billion. Hang on, let me check. I can't remember. Let's see. Shad Khan. Give me a quick second here. Yeah, he's worth $6.3 billion. That's a lot of dollars that he's worth. That's crazy, man. But yeah, no, and this straight off the bat answers a question because Tony in himself, I had seen a couple of things floated around. His net worth is established at around $5 million. So, I mean, the question was, how is Tony bankrolling this? Well, it's his dad. It's his dad that's putting up the cash. And in the statement, Shad says that I am the proud father of Tony Khan, who will serve in a leadership role at AEW during the 2019 launch and in the years ahead. Tony will assemble a great team to take AEW over the top for the benefit of everyone who loves the wrestling industry while continuing to serve in his current capacities with the Jaguars and Fulham. This is interesting here as well. AEW will operate as an organization completely independently from other interests. It will not deter attention or divert resources from any of my business, teams, projects, or investments. At the same time, AEW will enjoy the same full commitment I give to everything and everyone in my life, my family, my friends, my business, and in recent years to sports, hospitality, and now entertainment. So I think it's a key paragraph as well, because you can tell that he's addressing his stakeholders or whoever else is involved in Khan's business ventures, saying, look, guys, relax. Everyone take it easy. I'm not taking money right and left. This is my cash that I'm putting into this. I'm not taking money from the Jags. I'm not taking money from hospitality. I guess he owns some hotels from my hotel chain. The Khan Estates. No. The Khan Gardens. Ooh. I would so stay at a Khan Garden. Look, if Shad Khan if that's not what they're called, I'm launching my own hotel, and that's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it the Khan Gardens. Woo. So that's how the day started off, just clarifying everything here. Then we eventually got to the event, which was in Jacksonville, coincidentally, the same city where WWE was airing SmackDown Live tonight. Coincidentally speaking. The AEW rally here, so if we just go through the announcements, what the events, I'm not going to play by play the event. Big news, Double or Nothing, which will be their first event, May 25th in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand. I don't know if you understand how significant this can be. The MGM Grand was the original home of Monday Nitro. This is where WCW, in its better years, this is where it started off. Instead of, this is where the centralized TV there. It was a big, big deal. And if you listen to 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff, Eric will often talk about how important securing a place like the MGM Grand was, just for the respectability that it provided to the company, for advertisers, for other business ventures, other business opportunities. You're not holding your event in a garage or in a warehouse. It's taking part in the goddamn MGM Grand. So this, I find there's a lot of big news. That's the thing. And at some point you have to focus on big news. But for me, this is one of the biggest events, news bites of the whole thing. Wrestling coming back to the MGM Grand. That was a big, big deal. The talent signings. Chris Jericho saying he is all in with All Elite. You have Pac. The mind-blowing that they got these two names. Pac, who came out without a shirt. I think that when his contract was up with WWE, I think one of the conditions was that he had to rescind all of his shirts. I haven't seen Pac wearing a shirt since he's left WWE. SoCal Uncensored has been signed as well. Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio Sky. Man, having Daniels and Kazarian working there, if you are even remotely thinking about trying to elevate young talent, you put them in the ring with such goddamn ring generals as Daniels and Kazarian. Are you kidding me? MJF, which is a fantastic sign as well. Although I don't think none of us were really surprised, because he was always really close with the elite guys. Joey Janela and Penelope Ford. That is a fantastic get. Janela is fantastic. Can't wait for him to heal up. Penelope Ford, I find that people have been sleeping on her for a while. And I mean, it's good at the same time, because that means that the mix of talented women on the indie circuit right now is, we're trying to keep track of everyone, and it's really, really difficult. But Penelope Ford, man, she is gold. We also knew Britt Baker had been signed. They announced that last week. Billy Gunn and BJ Whitmer going to be joining as producers. BJ Whitmer, formerly with ROH, he left his job there. There's a partnership with OEW out of China. They'll be supplying talent to AEW, as per Matt Jackson, with the good hearts of OEW. I gotta tell you, as far as talent goes, I don't know what you guys in chat thought, but Chris Jericho was a big deal. I feel the only true surprise, the real surprise, where it's like, oh my God, was Pac. And Jericho at some point, it had been speculated before, and yes, Jericho said, no, I don't have anything to do with that. I think we sort of saw it coming. It doesn't diminish the fact that he's there. It's a huge, huge, huge deal for AEW. But Pac going right after Adam Page. Yeah, I'm there for that. I'm a little disappointed that there weren't more announcements regarding the women's division, adding more talent in there. But I mean, this was clearly a teaser trailer. You know what I mean? This is like, we're dangling the big fish, and then we're gonna start spoon feeding you some fantastic stuff. And there's a lot of contracts that are coming up in January and February. Stuff maybe people who have committed that aren't talking about it, like Kenny Omega. But then again, Kenny Omega. The thing is with Kenny Omega, and I know a lot of you in chat are talking about him. The thing with Kenny Omega is that he's done this before, where he said, I'm done with New Japan, and 2 months later he's back in New Japan. Is he going to do that kind of thing now? Maybe, but his contract isn't officially up just yet, and I think his contract is a past Royal Rumble, so he's not going to end up as a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble this year. For some reason, I don't know why. But no, I know why. It's because of his contract. But again, these are it's reports. No one, Kenny Omega, I don't think has ever come out and say, "Oh, my contract is done at this date." These are reports, right? Same thing goes with Kushida. Kushida actually has a match left on January 29th. His last match is going to be with Tanahashi over in New Japan. So they're not talking about. He's not talking about where he's going just yet right now either, right? So it seems to me that there's still a lot of talent out there, and I tossed that out on Twitter. Like, guys, who do you think is missing? And I don't know what you think in chat here. Who you feel is missing right now? The Lucha Brothers. That's the one that's coming up the most. Penta, Phoenix. And you can rest assured that right now these guys are getting thrown tons of money at. They're getting thrown tons of money. Tons and tons of money. A lot of people say, well, Jordan Grace was missing. But I'm pretty sure she's under contract with Impact right now. Let's see. Some people have even been talking about Ryback, and I don't ever want to see Ryback again. Was it Kylie Ray? Kristen Ashley in the chat says Blaine is calling for Marco Stunt. Yes, I think that would be fantastic as well. Joe Cook says Ty. I'm assuming Ty Dillinger. As long as he's under WWE contract, he's not doing anything unless he manages to get himself fired. Yeah, Jay reconfirms what I had heard. Jordan re-signed with Impact, or signed with Impact anyway. There's a lot of people missing. I was wondering where famous dick wrestler Joey Ryan was. For my money, I was convinced, 100% convinced, that he was going to be there. Ivelisse would be really cool. She'd be a nice get as well. You have women like Tenille Dashwood. She's signed with Ring of Honor, so she's still hanging out there. Man, these are exciting times. And to wrap this up here, some cool stuff. Cody says wins and losses are going to matter like they've never mattered before. Fans will not be forced to boo or cheer who they don't want. So that's clearly, we know exactly what he's talking about here. And another big news here, he was talking also about, how the wrestlers are always the last on the totem pole to be paid, to get money. It's not going to be the case anymore. But not only that, Brandy Rhodes also said that there would be pay parity between the men and the women. And that is a big deal. That is truly, sincerely good news. AEW says Jay King in the chat, should just buy the Impact roster, all 12 of them. You know what? My money, my gut, maybe not my money because I'm terrible with money, but my gut says that there's probably a lot of Impact talent that are being courted by AEW right now. And I was listening to Sean Ross Sapp's recap earlier today, and he makes an excellent point, because there's always the question of, well, are these going to be exclusive contracts? Or is there going to be talent sharing and so on and so forth? First of all, as far as talent sharing goes, I'm really interested now to find out what AEW's relationship with Dragon Gate is going to be, because Pac is their champion. What's the name of the championship again? The Dragon Dream Gate something. The if Dragon Gate allowed their world champion to come on to AEW today with the belt and challenge Hangman Page to a match and say, "Oh, back at AEW," that there's a working relationship that's being set up, and that could be really interesting, super interesting. And I'm kind of wonder what New Japan thinks about that. But the other point I wanted to make, and I can't remember. Oh yeah, to say Sean was saying earlier today, and it makes you think about the exclusive contracts things. You know, yeah, of course, you know, nobody likes exclusive contracts. They like talent. They like their talent to be fluid and be able to do all sorts of different shows. But it's all in All Elite Wrestling's interests to secure talent and make them their own, as opposed to letting them float around, because that's what MLW is doing. That's what Impact is doing. You know, they share talent all the time. It's always the same rotation of guys and girls going around from show to show, heading over to Lucha Underground and stuff. So it's really, really interesting to think what they're going to do next. And if AEW wants to secure themselves as a true alternative, that you'll be able to see their things that you won't be able to see anywhere else, well, then they will have to secure some people, which means they will have to toss a lot of money. What do you guys think? What's going on here in chat? Joe Cook says there's a lot of people missing. I guess that's when we were talking about who wasn't there. Joey Ryan will sign at some point. They don't have a TV deal, so maybe they're waiting. Could be. Blaine says that Jungle Boy would be another person that he'd like to see added in. Kristen Ashley says she's writing a piece at Daily DDT on equal pay at AEW. Keep your peepers peeled for that. You should follow Kristen anyway at her Twitter if you're not. It's Kristen Ashley. It's rather easy to remember. Yeah, there we go. And Kristen says, if I believe Chelsea Green, I wouldn't emulate MLW. I would not either. And MLW is locking some talent down as well. I'm having a smoothie tonight. All right, we got to move on. We got to do SmackDown. Man, this was such a good day for wrestling. We had AEW. We had the news there. And then we had a wonderful episode of SmackDown Live that started off with Daniel Bryan versus the Concessions. I like this spot, this segment, quite a bit. And you guys know by now how I feel about you people promos. And at this point, Daniel Bryan he's the master of the you people promo. It just works. He's preachy. He's convinced about what he's trying to bring forward. He sees himself as enlightened. Like, everything in the character makes the you people promos work. So when he's going around complaining about the concessions, saying you people shove popcorn and candy down your throats because there's a void in your lives, and he's snatching hot dogs out of the hands of people and flipping sodas at other dudes. It's really good. It's just absurd enough to not take it seriously, and well executed enough for it to just come get you and be like, yeah, okay, I'm into this. This is good. And he's walking to the ring through the audience. He says he's out here changing the world, making the world a better place. He says, but he needs you. I need you people to change. I will fill the void of your lives with something meaningful. I will fill this world with something these children will be proud of. And then all of a sudden, R-Truth teleports into our realm of existence. I don't know where he came from, But man, he just went straight after Daniel Bryan. He was not happy about being attacked while being dressed as Santa Claus. Man, can you imagine? R-Truth has been stewing since Christmas, thinking about how he just wanted to dress up as Santa and come to the ring and make everybody happy, put smiles on faces. And sourpuss Daniel Bryan came and ruined it. He beat him up. He's been stewing for 2 weeks. That's a lot of pent-up energy. And man, R-Truth had energy tonight. He was aggressive. This wasn't playful cuckoo gaga R-Truth. He was aching to give a beating. Truth avoids some offense and kicks Daniel Bryan down, covers him for 2. This is after the commercial. Daniel Bryan fights back, gets some kicks in the corners, hits the running drop kick in the corner twice, but the third time, Truth responds with a spinning forearm. He hits a suplex into a jawbreaker, which looked a little off by Truth, but nonetheless covered Daniel Bryan for 2. And the running knee to the face secures the 3 count for Daniel Bryan, who walks out of this one the winner and then gets attacked by AJ Styles at the top of the ramp. The real AJ Styles. He comes out and tosses Bryan into the LED boards, grabs a chair. And Daniel Bryan bolts. That was something. I like that segment. Was it fun? It was also an interesting way to start off the show. I mean, it was still, a promo segment, but it wasn't like everyone standing in the ring. It was actually kind of fun. But you can tell that had it been just about anyone else, it wouldn't have worked as well. Daniel Bryan has some kind of magic with this heel turn. He's enjoying every second of it, isn't he? He is. Kristen Ashley says it was hilarious, but leave Soto alone. Is everything sacred? Is anything sacred? What's next? Ice cream. Jason says I didn't hate it. Daniel cry and should have been fired or at least given a fine for spilling food on the guy. No one wants Daniel Bryan to touch ice cream. Let's leave the ice cream alone. Next, excuse me, that took me by surprise. Next, we had a tag team fiesta, a spectacle for the senses, especially your ocular ones. Samoa Joe and Andrade Cien Almas versus Rey Mysterio and Mustafa Ali. Oh, I like the pairing of Joe and Ali together when they fought, what was it, last week? And Joe was just tossing them around. And Ali is back at him again. He's like, no, I can take this big guy down. And Joe is just like, he's playing with them. I love their dynamic. Joe tries, he tries to play with Ali, but Mustafa's not having any. He tries to take Joe down with the running forearm, but Joe doesn't budge. Ali hits the ropes to gain some momentum, but Joe nails him down with a shoulder block. Joe with some rights on Ali. Mustafa avoids being avalanched. Drop kicks. Samoa Joe tags Mysterio in, and dual drop kicks by the faces take the big man down. Almas and Mysterio are next, and that was, There's a hammerlock slam by Almas that's reversed by Mysterio into a throw. Spinning Hurricane Rana by Mysterio as well. This is so good because you have two guys who work the same style. And was it me or was this Mysterio's best performance since he's returned to WWE? I believe so. Chat, back me up here. Mysterio runs the ropes, avoids a kick, but eats the patented Almas back elbow. Ugh, it's so good every time. Mysterio gets covered but kicks out at 2. Joe's back in. Combination strikes in the corner. Then Almas comes back in. Mysterio reverses a wheelbarrow into a sunset flip face slam. Ali then is in. He does a head scissors, kicks Almas to the head, hits his rolling sit-out face buster, covers Almas but only gets 2. He as well eats a back elbow, but then drop kicks Almas twice. Then both men are on, and then both men hit the ground. Then Joe and Almas are on the outside. A pescado by Ali is interrupted as Joe catches him and does an overhead toss onto the commentary table, which was sick as hell. But the thing is, at this point, I'm like, oh, well, there you go. That's the big bump of the night right there. Boy, was I wrong. When we're back from commercial, Ali is in the tree of woe. Almas is above him, and Ali crunches, grabs Almas, and does a belly-to-belly superplex, all while remaining in the tree of woe. A release belly-to-belly. But we're not done yet, guys. Mysterio comes in. He rocks Almas. Joe runs in. Some kicks, a seated senton, and then Mysterio hits it. He hits it. He hits a Canadian destroyer on Almas. He hits a Canadian destroyer on WWE television. This is the programming that has banned pile drivers. I asked the question, when was the last time we saw Canadian destroyer on WWE TV? Someone said Cena versus Styles at Royal Rumble. That could be. My memory's a little foggy. I don't quite remember. Oh. That was so good. And the way it was executed, Mysterio was just like he was a gust of wind. It was beautiful stuff. Like Blaine says, PWG style. It was amazing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. Wow, I've never seen a Canadian destroyer before. That's not it. It's WWE on their Tuesday night show, a tag team match that doesn't have any stakes, that doesn't have any real, reason to be. And holy shit, they're pulling out everything, and they're pulling out a friggin' Canadian destroyer. The end comes when a 619 on Almas fails. He interrupts it. He being Almas, he grabs Mysterio into a gutbuster hammerlock DDT and covers Mysterio for the win. I think this is the best possible outcome. You have your two younger guys looking really, really strong. Mustafa did some great stuff. He wasn't pinned. He was out of the finish. Almas gets the win over Mysterio. It's a big thing. It was a great, super fun match. The right person's won. And we have Carmella cutting a promo where she says everyone thinks that she's not going to win the match tonight. Then we get an Usos promo. Something about penitentiaries. Then we have The Miz, who's with Shane. He's kind of pissed that the Usos are getting a match for the tag titles. He says, look, aren't you Shane McMahon? Shouldn't you be tossing your weight around and getting us being our tag team, Shane? Shouldn't we be getting an opportunity at the bar for the tag titles? And he's like, I think we should earn them, so on and so forth. But Miz has, are they both on the same page? That's the question that we're left at the end of the segment. Are they both on the same page? We don't know, or at least we don't know yet. Rusev is in the ring, and he's downtrodden. He says, Lana, my wife, my love, my heart. got hurt because of Shinsuke Nakamura. Because last week, she came to his defense and she got hurt. We're gonna talk about that in a second here. So he says, I do not stand before you as a man. He still managed to get this line in. I do not stand before you as a man with 1,000 Hemsworth brothers' bodies, which was funny. But as a husband, you get Lana as the best Lana #1 chance. He calls Shinsuke out, but Shin is in the TV truck, probably stalking Kevin Dunn. And he says he's in the truck because he's going to show the world that what happened is not his fault, it's Rusev's fault. So then they show the events where Shinsuke wants to fight, and he's pounding down on Rusev. Then Lana jumps on his back, and then Rusev hits a Machka kick on Shinsuke, and Shinsuke falls back, and Lana gets seriously injured. We're going to talk about it. Give me a second. So he says, Rusev, you crushed Lana. And then Rusev says, if you don't come to me, I'm going to come to you. And then he runs backstage. But it's a trap! It's a trap! Shinsuke crushes Rusev with road cases. Kinshasa's him. It was a trap all along. Okay, now. God damn it. Lana's a wrestler. Lana is a wrestler. She's competed in Royal Rumble. She's done the Mixed Match Challenge. She is trained. In kayfabe, we're talking kayfabe here, okay? Because it's a kayfabe injury. We are trained. We understand that she is trained to take a bump. She gets clothesline, she gets forearm, she gets suplex, she gets tossed. Are you telling me that her on Shinsuke Nakamura's back, she falls off, she lands flat on her back? You telling me that she's injured, that this is sufficient and egregious enough for Rusev to be on I must defend my wife's honor? I'll work on the Rusev voice, I promise. But you understand? This one boggles my mind. And it's not as if Shinsuke fell back on her. Shinsuke fell seated. He didn't land on top of Lana at all. He landed on his ass. And Lana fell back. So she fell at the most 4 feet. And now, I don't like this because it's insulting to our intelligence as wrestling fans, because we know Lana is a wrestler, first and foremost. And second of all, why is she suddenly now a soft porcelain doll? I know porcelain's not soft. That's not good. A soft water lily. It's better. That breaks apart upon the least amount of contact. How is this suddenly a thing? This is exactly like how they treated Candice LeRae in NXT earlier this year, because suddenly this hard as nails, tough ass wrestler who wrestled with friggin' thumbtacks in her feet, right? Suddenly she eats a flying body press onto the floor, and she's down. She has to be stretchered out. What the fuck? This is so dumb. It's like at the minute that these wrestlers become wives, they need their dudes. It suddenly becomes about their dudes. And I'm not any more enchanted with what they're doing with Mandy Rose. It goes on both sides. It's stupid. Honest to God, I could sincerely appreciate an angle like this if Shinsuke did do something quite egregious. Something where you're like, oh my God, I would want to kill this guy as well. But right now, as far as our belief as wrestling viewers goes, an injury angle where someone is taken out for weeks is supposed to happen because of a very serious attack, a very serious offense. We didn't get one here. It's really ridiculous. Anyway, they really could be fighting over anything. Let's say Shinsuke. Now I know PG era, and you're going to say, there's no blood, but what if Shinsuke had done something where Lana would end up bleeding? Really powerful image like that, and you're like, yeah, okay, I can get behind Rusev now. Now it's more like, It was an accident to begin with. There's that nuance here. Who's really right? It was an accident. But then, the bump was just so silly. Anyhow. Becky Lynch says that she cuts a quick promo here. She doesn't understand why she has to jump through hoops. She doesn't understand why she has to jump through hoops to get her title back. The title that she made the talk of the entire wrestling business in a triple threat, right? She says, hey, I'm going to go back and get it in a triple threat match. They play the Mean Gene tribute video again, and I cry some more. And then we get the Bar SmackDown Tag Team Champions versus the Usos. And this was really good. This was really good. Sheamus and Jay get down to business quick. Sheamus flips him down, drags him down really, really strongly to begin with. Some strength exchange to begin with, but Sheamus knocks Jay down. Jay avoids some offense, clotheslines him out though. Sheamus is back in. Drop kick, cover. And Sheamus kicks out at one. Cesaro then tags in also Jimmy. Cesaro shoulder blocks Jimmy down, catches Jimmy on a crossbody, but eats a head scissors for his troubles. Sheamus gets Cesaro out of the corner to avoid Jimmy charging. The Usos corner Cesaro in their corner. See how that works? Jay then with the forearm, but then Cesaro knocks Jay down. Sheamus is back in. Some European uppercuts. Sheamus is Irish whipped because he's Irish. Jay waylays Sheamus with a hell of a clothesline, the kind of clothesline that Sheamus would give. He just knocked his head off. Cesaro runs a distraction that allows Sheamus the time to clothesline Jay himself, and we go to commercial. Back from it, Jay's trying to get the tag to Jimmy, but instead eats a rolling senton by Sheamus himself. It was really good. Diving elbow off the top rope by Cesaro, covers and only gets two. Sheamus continues working on Jay until Jay enziguris the Irishman and finally gets the hot tag to Jimmy. Forearm, kick, gut punch, and a super kick. Jimmy Uso is one of the best hot tags in the business. Samoan drop by Jimmy, hip attack in the corner, covers for 2.9. Double dives on both heels to the outside that gets Cesaro tossed over the barricade. Not sure that was planned. Cesaro gets dragged back in. Jimmy goes to the top, flying cross body, covers, but only gets two. Jimmy avoids the brogue kick. Jay with a super kick, covers for 2.9. Back from commercial, we have the Cesaro swing on Jimmy happening, and then into a sharpshooter, but Jimmy reaches the bottom rope to break it up. Sheamus gets or delivers a knee to the face while the ref is distracted. Cesaro covers for 2. Jimmy fights back with a series of headbutts on Sheamus. Jimmy goes up top, eats a running knee. Sheamus goes up top with Jimmy in a fireman's carry position. Shenanigans ensure that it ends with a super kick that sends Sheamus off the turnbuckle. Cesaro leaps off the other turnbuckle and eats a super kick himself. And then Mandy Rose's music comes out and she's in a towel and she has a microphone. And she says, Jimmy, can you please help me, Jimmy? I'm just a poor girl walking around in a towel. Did I leave my golden shorts? Only in wrestling did I leave my golden shorts in your hotel room? I'm sorry, I really think that's funny. Did I leave my golden shorts in your hotel room? Anyway, that causes enough distraction for Cesaro to hit the neutralizer on Jay and gets the win. Okay, so and then Miz comes to the ring afterwards, and he challenges basically the Bar to a match on behalf of him and his partner Shane McMahon. All right, now freshness. When they said that we were going to, we're going to mix things up a little bit, and we're going to, new faces, old faces, getting new opportunities and stuff like that. We've seen the Bar with the Usos before. And I mean, if it gives us matches like we had tonight, because this was an excellent tag team match that had a lot of time to it as well. It's not a problem. It's not as if these teams can't work well with each other, but what is it now? 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago? I was flipping out, putting animated GIFs. You remember the GIF? You remember when I put this one up? Faithful viewers, that night when Gallows and Anderson had a pinfall victory and Sanity was involved in the post-match stuff. You remember that? And I posted that right here. You remember that? Because I was excited. Where are Gallows and Anderson now? Where are Sanity? Where are we back to the Usos and the Bar? Why are we back to them? But not only that, why is their next challenge Shane McMahon and The Miz? Now, I see where they're going with Shane McMahon and The Miz. It's going to lead to a WrestleMania match. It's inevitable at this point. The Miz is going to double cross Shane. This is where it's going, and they're gonna sow the seeds of discord at the Royal Rumble in this match. But my God, don't want that. Do we want that? When we have actual tag teams waiting in the wings that got us excited, got us pumped to see them in action. And then again, like I said, I mean, you put the Bar and the Usos together and they spun magic. Didn't see the New Day tonight. But, this doesn't feel fresh to me. Putting two single guys into attack. A single guy and an on and off wrestler in a tag team. Putting them up against your tag champs, it's kind of weird. And I was really looking forward to seeing a mix of tag teams happening, but I don't know, man. Woman, all this talk about listening to the audience and freshness, and yeah, we're paying attention. I want to know, they said the audience is going to decide, and we're going to listen. I want to know which one of you schmucks said, I want Miz and Shane in a tag team to face the Bar. That's what I want. I want to know who put that out there, because it's your damn fault. What's going on in the chat here? Yeah, I see Blaine and Jay are talking about, how we've seen all these guys before. Jason says, what was good about it is just, the match was fantastic. What was good about it, it's just the same tag teams every week almost. But I mean, it was such a good match. That's the thing. I'm down for some freshness. I'm down for some new stuff. You get what we got tonight. That was some fantastic stuff. Gallows Anderson, so on and so forth. Jay King says, I don't like how the Usos have to beat the Bar once again to earn a title opportunity, and then have to beat them again to earn the titles. Ever heard of number one contenders match creative team? That's one thing that really does bother me as well. And it's one thing to get rid of the automatic rematch clause, but this thing of having, if you beat the champion, you get your title shot. Come on. Let's just move on. John says, Miz is getting cheers though. He got cheers even when he was a heel. That's not the point. And yeah, you can argue there's a certain argument to say that he's more of a baby face than he ever was legitimately, or ever was since in recent memory. But at this point, he's, it's a swerve waiting to happen. He's turning heel at some point. Speaking of heels, Naomi's backstage and she has her high heels in her hands, and she throws them away to go after Mandy Rose, who's walking with Sonya Deville, and she's laying into both of them, and Mandy and Sonya are trying to get their licks in, and she's no-selling most of the punches until she eats a Sonya Deville kick to the gut that just whacks her. And she goes down, man. And even if she didn't want to know, even if she wanted to no-sell the move, there was no way she could no-sell that kick. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Daniel Bryan is raging backstage, and man, he was frightening. He was legitimately scary. I don't know, man. Like, he's screaming into the microphone, and his face is completely contorted. His eyes are bulging out of his head. He doesn't even look like himself. It's like he's possessed. He's really good. And he says, interesting, he says, why did AJ attack me? Is it because I'm changing the world? And you can't help but wonder why suddenly your heel, your champion heel, is talking about using the words changing the world today. Is he trying to get them over as a naughty words, naughty expressions? It's getting kind of weird. We see the same video package for the NXT call-ups that we have been seeing for, is it 2 months now? Feels like 6 months. They should change them up, because at this stage, the package is so long and it's always the same thing. They're showing the same on Raw. They're showing the same on SmackDown. People are going to turn against these people before they have the chance to get in the ring and actually compete. Because it'll be like, oh, we're already fed up of seeing them. It's done at this point. They have to do something else. Shout out from the Meat Boys. Ryan, how you doing? Meat Boys. Then the Miz and the Shane are backstage. Shane isn't convinced about Miz's antics, but the Miz is he's such a booster. He tells him, we're going to win this. We got to go for the gold. All right. All right. Let's do it. So they're happy that they're going to Royal Rumble. The thing is that the match will be fine. Won't be, I don't think it'll be stellar. Won't be like what we got tonight with the Usos, but it'll be fine. It just could be pretty much anyone else. Main event time. Becky Lynch versus Carmella versus Charlotte Flair in a main event. Have you noticed how often it happens now that we have women in the main event and they're not making a big deal out of it anymore? It just sort of feels okay, feels natural, feels normal. Isn't that nice? Don't you think that's nice? I do. I've noticed. I like it. I love how at first there's a chant battle between Becky and Charlotte, you know. The Becky chants and Charlotte tries to get the woos and Carmella's sort of standing back with her arms crossed, just like, let's get this over with. Can we start fighting? So they start going after each other. Becky with some kicks. She gets Carmella out of the ring. She kicks Charlotte down, of course. Jumps off the apron with a fist on Carmella. Clothesline Charlotte down. Becky is in control early on in the match. The crowd is into it. And of course, we go to a commercial. Becky is in control over Carmella. Becky slams Charlotte off the top onto a prone Carmella. And then she does a basement drop kick on Charlotte, then kind of lands like as a senton on Carmella, who's just right behind her. Nice little move there. Covers Carmella, but Charlotte breaks up the pin. Becky and Charlotte stare each other down. They don't like each other, and they go after each other. Chops and forearms. A little bit of strong style, if you ask me. The Queen's of strong style right there. Charlotte with a series of chops. She gets the advantage over Becky, but Becky bounces back with a Thez press, where she grounds and pounds Charlotte, who reverses it. But Carmella comes to break it up with a bit of a whiffed kick. I think the sheer force of the air carrying that kick was enough to get Charlotte off of Becky. She hits a flatliner on Carmella hits a flatliner on Becky. Up comes a figure four by Charlotte that is reversed into a code of silence by Carmella. But Charlotte lifts her up into a pile driver situation, but is reversed into a roll up. Meanwhile, Becky is climbing the ropes and hits a missile drop kick on Carmella. Charlotte, though, takes out both Becky and Carmella. She sets both ladies up, goes up top for a moonsault. She hits it, but can't pin anyone. Back from commercial, there's some shenanigans on the turnbuckle between Charlotte and Becky. Carmella breaks it up, goes for a top rope hurricane run on Charlotte, but instead lifts herself all the way up into a seated position, rolls through, and gets the hurricane rana, which was really nice. Covered Charlotte for two. Carmella then goes for a dive on Becky, a scary dive. It's as if she overshot a little bit. She came in a little too quickly, or Becky sort of didn't quite catch her properly, but I thought she did interrupt, but man, she was going for it. It was a little scary, but everything seemed okay. Charlotte does her moonsault off the turnbuckle to the floor, but misses. She doesn't get anyone. Becky hits a Bexploder on Carmella on the floor, runs her into the barricades. They get back into the ring. Charlotte runs in with the boot, but she slaps her thigh like a good second before the boot connects. Carmella rolls her up, but of course, there's a kick out at two. Top rope natural selection by Charlotte on Becky. A kick by Carmella on Charlotte. She covers Becky, but she kicks out. Carmella says she goes after Charlotte. She says that she wants to beat Becky because she hasn't beaten Becky. She wants to beat her. But Charlotte gets mad and snaps the figure eight. onto Carmella. Lynch is on the top rope. She breaks up the pin with a leg drop onto the figure 8. That kind of reminded me of what the Revival did just the night before, last night, when I think it was Dash Wilder who splashed, top rope splashed onto Chad Gable, who was holding a bridge, a German suplex bridge. That was pretty crazy. Becky gets Charlotte into the disarmer, but Carmella breaks it up. Carmella tosses her out. A spear by Charlotte on Becky. Carmella with a super kick on Charlotte, but Carmella gets rolled into the disarmer. Becky Lynch wins. Becky Lynch wins. I'm not disappointed. I'm surprised. And Asuka comes out, and they get a nice stare down. I like me and Asuka with a belt. She looks like a murderous pixie then. You know, she has like, it's all fun and smiles, but then, you know, like in a minute she can just snap. I'm surprised that Becky won, because I really thought the story would be her winning the Royal Rumble, going after Rousey. But we can still see how this goes. Is she going to win at is she going to win her title back at Royal Rumble? See, I'm still of the opinion. I'm still of the opinion that we are on the cusp. That we are on the cusp of the Ronda Rousey heel turn. I really am. And I really think we're on the verge of the 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen thing. Royal Rumble is a mixed pay-per-view. Both, like they all are now. There's no brand specific. That's stupid what you just said, Warren. All of Raw and SmackDown are there. Why wouldn't Ronda interfere in that match against Asuka? Cost Becky the match. Why wouldn't the horsewoman screw Charlotte out of winning the Royal Rumble? Then who wins the Royal Rumble? We're not there yet. It's not time for predictions yet. That was SmackDown. This was a fun show. A fun show. There was a lot of wrestling. There was no Braun Strowman flubbing his lines. No sauntering around the ring wondering what the hell is going on. This was a great show. This was a fantastic show. Yeah, there you go. We're going to talk about the Royal Rumble soon. But join me tomorrow on FightfulSelect.com, folks, for my NXT 205 Live recap show. And then back here on Thursday, 4 p.m., NXT UK TakeOver Blackpool predictions. That's quite a mouthful. It's quite a mouthful. And I'm hoping it'll be fantastic. And I hope you join us. Hope you join me. And then Saturday, don't forget Saturday, after TakeOver Blackpool, Kristen Ashley and I, over at Fightful. That'll be a lot of fun. Guys, I want to thank everyone for joining this evening. Thank you all for popping in this evening. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching or listening here on youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, or on your favorite podcast device. Whichever way you decided, I'm really glad that you allowed me to enter your home and check out the layout, see where the security cameras are, and then casually walk back out. Have a great evening, everyone. I'll see you next time.